Will the Seahawks continue their dominance at home, Stephen A?
I believe they will. Listen, I'm nothing but respect for Bruce Arians and the job that he's doing along with Todd Bowles on the defensive end of the field. I know that Arizona's defense is going to show up. Russell Wilson's going to have a tough time. But I just refuse to believe, as much respect as I've grown to have for Drew Stanton, I don't believe Arizona's going 15-1. I think there are a couple of more games that they'll lose en route to capturing possibly the number one seed in the NFC. And I think this is one of those games. I don't see a backup quarterback going into Seattle, those confines, that noise, with such an important game for the reigning defending Super Bowl champions to capture and beating them. I just don't see that happening. I know about, Ellington. He's going to have a tough time running the football against Seattle. I get that. Fitzgerald and Floyd are going to have to show up as well. There's no question. This miniature kid, John Brown, Seattle's going to have to keep an eye on him because, to me, he's going to be the X factor on offense for Arizona. Defensively, Arizona is a team to be reckoned with. I understand that. Obviously, Seattle's suffered a lot. Marshawn Lynch doesn't appear to be 100%. Golden Tate is gone. Obviously, Percy Harvin is gone. A lot of changes have been taking place or whatever, but I think that their intestinal fortitude is not to be questioned. I believe that Seattle is still legit and they're tough, and I think this is the kind of game that's going to be gut-wrenching, but nevertheless, I could see them winning this game. I'm picking Seattle to win this game 20-19.
Really? 20-19. On this one, my friend, I think you're incredibly rational. I think you're wide awake because I agree with you on this one. And I want to say that I always tell you that early in the week, I always look at the point spreads, but first I guess what I think the spread should be. And I know it was a shocker to many people that Seattle all week has been a 6.5-point favorite over a 9-1 Arizona team. I was not surprised by that at all. I guessed it would be 6, and it stayed right around 6.5, depending on where you look. I think that's accurate. I think the odds makers are correct in assuming that at home, Seattle, even right now at 6-4, should be a 6.5-point favorite. I know the negatives. I know that Arizona went up there late last year and dealt Seattle a loss when we thought Seattle was basically invincible at home. That was 17-10 Arizona at Seattle. I think it was week 17. I know that Arizona has allowed only one team all year to rush for more than 100 yards. And we know that Seattle now leans heavily on running the football with beast mode and obviously Russell Wilson and quarterback running the spread option. And I know that a two-time Pro Bowl center in Max Unger is out with a bad ankle. And we know that Brandon Mebane has been lost for probably the season. So the two anchors of your offensive line and your defensive line are out. Those are two huge pieces that people don't want to talk about because it's not a real hot thing to discuss, the center and the nose tackle, basically. But they're big deals to Seattle. Despite all that, I believe the Seahawks are about to take a last stand. And I like Richard Sherman's quotes this week. We have to play with valor. And I think that's a good word. It's time for Seattle to flash their championship medal. It's time for them to say, okay, enough of this. They are still ranked number 2 in defense to the Detroit Lions, and they are number 1 in running the football. Wouldn't you think that combo, number 1 rush, number 2 defense, would be better than a 6-4 record? I watched the whole game at Seattle last week. I'm sorry, at Kansas City, Seattle at Kansas City. And Stephen A., Seattle beat Kansas City every way you could beat Kansas City statistically, except for the one that counts on the scoreboard. Seattle failed in 2 key fourth downs and then 1 late fourth down. But it's just a matter of the it factor has been missing from the championship team. I'm going to say they get it back this week. I'm going to say that at home with that crowd going absolutely nuts, big division game, this is it, that they'll get to 7-4 and be afloat again and still alive in the division race. I'm going to go not as close as you. I got the same score for the home team, 20, but I say Arizona, even though they've won 6 straight games, I say they only scored 10 points at Seattle. So I got 20-10 home team.
I got 20-19 because I think they'll be in a position to kick a few field goals. And I think it'll be a nail-biter, and it'll come down to the wire. But Seattle's defense will hold, and they'll survive.
Well, my final thought on this.
What is that?
I have that nagging doubt in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I continue not to believe 1,000% in Bruce Arians' team.
Oh.
I believe in Bruce. I believe in Todd Bowles, their coach of the year and coordinator of the year. But I just can't quite get there with the team, especially now that you have Drew Stanton at quarterback.
Yeah. Okay.
Just not quite there.